On this video, I will be explaining how to wire a stove. So if you have a stove and you need to know how to wire it, this video is good for you. If you want to become an appliance technician like me one day, this video will help you a lot. So electric stoves, they have two different switches according to my definition. They have selector switches. I call these switches selector switches simply because this is a selector switch. You would agree with me. This switch now is off, and if you can look here, I'm not sure whether you can see it here. These things are up. They all up. They are lifted. They're not making contact. So when we switch it on, so what it does, it selects. You see now, it has selected. So this one is down, this one down, this one down, this one is up, and all they are down. I think this is number 6, because this is a 6 position. This is a 6 heat. So the other type of a switch that we get is this one, and this type. Okay, on selector switches, there are many types of selector switches, but the principle is the same. They all using these things to select the contacts, and then they supply the plate according to what these things are being set to. This one and this one is a regulator switch. There are many types of regulator switches. This switch works different to this one. A selector switch will give us 4 outputs. There will be 4 wires going to the plate, a solid plate. But a regulator switch will have 1 wire that is going to the plate. So now that we know the difference between the selector switch and the regulator switch, let us now see how we can wire a selector switch and the regulator switch. When I started this drawing, my plan was to make only the selector switches, but I decided to also add the regulator switch. It's an easy switch to wire, you will see. Okay, the selector switches, which are this type, you get these switches on Defy, Univa, Kelvinator stoves. They might be different, but they do the same, and you can use this one to replace on any of the brands I've just mentioned. So this switch, it's like this as I've drawn it here. So number 5 is here and here, and number 2 it's here, number 1 here, number 3, and number 4. I don't know whether if I zoom it to you, you can see these numbers here. I think you can see those numbers as they are written. So we also have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. How do we wire the switch? We will get our electricity at the back of the stove. We will get live, neutral, and earth. So when we wire a selector switch, we will take electricity from live, straight to phase 1 if we are using those switches. We will then bridge that wire through our lug here, and then we take it to the other switch. So now we have wired the switches, we have wired live. And for the neutral part, neutral will go to P2. So we'll take this they not meet, they not joined there, and we wire it to P2. We'll bridge it to the lug, or we'll take electricity from here depending on what we want, and we will take it to P2. So what you must know is there you've got 2, 1, 3, 4, and on the plate itself of the stove, it's numbered differently. I don't know whether you can see these numbers here. Yeah, I think you can see them. This is number 1, and this is number 2, number 4, and number 3. So this is exactly what I've done on my drawing. I flipped them around. My plate is standing like this. Number 1, number 1, number 2, number 2, number 4, number 4, number 3, number 3. So it's easy to wire it when you are using the selector switch. We just take number 1, straight to number 1, take number 2, straight to number 2, and we take number 3 to number 3, we take number 4 to number 4. We have wired this plate correctly. If we want to wire that one, we just follow the same procedure. I hope you've seen the procedure. Okay, we'll say number 5, 2, 1, 3, 4. So number 4 to number 4, number 3 to number 3, number 2 to number 2, and number 1 to number 1. So that was it. To wire these ones, you don't have to stress anymore. You just wire them like that. Okay, I also added this switch, the regulator switch. The regulator switch will always have load, will live, pilot for the light, neutral, and yeah, live. So live or phase, like this one it's written, yeah, there is phase instead of live, and there is pilot, and there is neutral here, and there is load. I hope you can see that. Phase, pilot, neutral, load. So our live goes in here to this one, and our light will, the LED light will go here, and neutral there, and load will go there. This is the same. The only difference is that this one is big, and they even followed the arrangement of this one, but it's still the same thing. There is pilot, there is live there instead of phase. Our neutral goes here, and there is load that goes to the plate. So now let's come on the wiring of this switch, which is the regulator switch. So what you do when you wire the switch, what you should know is that this is the only switch that requires us to bridge 1 and 2, 4 and 3. We don't bridge 2 and 4. We only bridging these ones and these ones. So if we want to wire the switch, what we will do, the first thing we do is that we will bridge 3 and 4, and we'll also bridge 2 and 1. So we've got our electricity from live. So now let's take live there to our switch. We also have another electricity, which on the neutral side, we'll take neutral to our switch. So now the only thing that we haven't done here, we'll do here, is that we also take neutral there straight to our plate. We then bridge that neutral again. Okay, let's bridge this one, 2 and 1, 3 and 4. We then bridge our neutral here again. If you want to, you can put neutral on 3 and 4, and also what you've done there, also do it here on 3 and 4. So now we have this switch. If we are saying we're using this switch for this plate, not this one, we then take load straight to that plate. So when we switch on this switch, that plate will switch on. For this one to be controlled, we need to have another switch here. Maybe let's make another switch here. Load live PN. So we will have to wire this switch again. Let's just still live there to here, and let's still neutral here to here. So we will take load again on this switch to this plate. So when we switch on this switch, this one will come on. When we switch on that one will come on. So if you want to use it to have your LEDs for indication that that switch is on, let's say the LED is here. Let's make the LED here. So we will take an LED, will have 2 wires going in. So it will take one from the pilot and will take neutral here. Then the LED is also wired. So that is it on how to wire an electric stove. Because I didn't want to make this video long by adding oven, how to wire an oven, that video will be made on another day. That's it for this video. If you feel like we are having a content that might be useful for you, feel free to subscribe, like, and share the video. You can continue on those ones. That's up to you. Thanks.